3 years since your last record, and your new one's coming out, or just came out recently. Wait, why the long break between releasing albums?
Well, it takes me a long time to write songs. And when I was traveling all over the country all year, pretty much by myself, so it's kind of hard.
Touring?
Hard to write and drive at the same time. Yeah.
Your first album, No Angel Knows, received quite a bit of critical acclaim. Does that create pressures when you're going into the second album to try?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah, sure. I didn't want to fall to the sophomore slump,
right?
Or what do they call it? Is that what
That's
they call
it?
it?
The sophomore slump.
Yeah.
Well, how do you deal with that?
Well, I just made damn sure the songs were good. I just took my time.
Exactly.
I took my time. I wrote them. I rewrote them. I threw some out. I wrote some new ones. I wrote with some friends. I gathered up some songs by friends of mine that I put on the record. I wanted the record to be one big step better than the last record.
What did you find different about the writing and recording of Broke Down, which is the new album, compared to the first record?
Well, the writing was pretty much the same. They just kind of come slowly throughout the couple of years that I had, but the recording was a lot different. With No Angel, my first record, I was just getting to know Gurf, the producer, Gurf Morlix, and we had a really short time frame. We had to get it all done in 3 weeks, recorded and mixed and done, mastered, everything. And there were we had to cut corners. There were a few mistakes on there that we didn't have a chance to fix, and a few regrets, but it was my first record. I didn't want to make waves. I got it in, got the deadline. We said, okay, it looks good from the road, we said. Don't look too close. But so for the new album, I just was very determined not to have any regrets when it was over. And we did it in a home studio, so there's no clock ticking. We take our time, do stuff until we got it right.
That's a much more comfortable environment. You won't go back to the other way next time.
No, it was a good way to do it.
You have a song on the album with lyrics by Woody Guthrie. Now, how did that come about?
I was invited to play at a Woody Guthrie tribute concert here 6 or 7 years ago in Austin. And I was kind of the new kid in town, and I thought, well, I'll impress everybody if I show up with a Woody song no one has ever heard of. And I happen to have this book of unpublished Woody Guthrie writings that had just come out. And it's all writings. It's letters and stories he wrote, letters to his kids, little comic books, drawings, first drafts of songs that we know now, like This Land Is Your Land, stuff like that. And just songs that he wrote in the margins of books and just scraps here and there. And these were some verses that really appealed to me, and I put them to a melody and played them at the show. And at the time, it wasn't, it was kind of frowned upon to do that kind of thing by Woody's team, Woody's management, the people involved with his legacy. But a couple years ago, his daughter Nora took over his work, and she's all into having young songwriters finish up his stuff.
Which is probably, which again gave you opportunity to do that. And I know there was another album, the Wilco and Billy Bragg album, which was all Woody Guthrie music. Yeah,
when I heard about that album, I started trying to get a hold of Nora Guthrie, and she heard it and said, yeah, sure, put it on your record.
What was it like writing music to someone else's words?
Yeah, I'd never done that before. It was so long ago, I don't remember. But I'm thinking back, and yeah, I played around with it. I had like 2 or 3 different versions of it, and until I settled on that one. I wanted it to sound kind of gospel-y, because it's kind of a gospel song. Right.
Also, the album closes with a cover of a Del McCoury song. What made you choose that particular song to cover?
I saw that song on a TV show years and years ago, like one of those Nashville Network TV shows, American Music Shop or something like that. I had never even heard of Del McCoury, but he did like a half-hour set, and Ricky Skaggs was playing with him, and of course his sons, and it just blew me away. I loved it, and I rushed out. I got a tape and taped it on the videotape, and so I learned that song. I think that was the last song they did. I think that's the only one I got on tape. So I learned it, and I played it for a while. And I was in this little bluegrass band, a little side project 4 or 5 years ago called Cool Beans. A gal named Laura Nadeau from Ohio and a guy named Yannick from Berlin, Germany. And we came up with this cool arrangement together. We all worked on it together and come up with some neat harmonies and a cool arrangement for it. And we recorded it to a DAT machine for a demo a couple years ago. And I just loved the way it came out. And I thought it was a shame to leave it in my closet for eternity.
Right.
Yeah, I'll put it on the record.
Lucky for us, you did. It's a great cover. It's
Thank
beautiful. Now, years ago, you moved to Ireland for a while. Is that right? How did living there affect your progression as a musician? Did it at all?
Oh, it did. It had a huge effect. Being there, I kind of followed a girlfriend over there. She pretty much dumped me on the plane. So there I was in Ireland with a guitar and some tapes. I just like rediscovered Hank Williams and Woody Guthrie, so I had all these great tapes and a guitar that I was just learning. And I had, no car, no girlfriend, no TV, no job, just a couple classes to go to, and all this time in a cool little city with a great little music scene. And I was fascinated by the busking scene, these guys out playing guitar and singing, or playing pipes, or there was even an escape artist on the streets of Cork, busking, playing for tips, doing his act. And I was fascinated by that, and it gave me something to shoot for. I was just starting to learn how to play and write. And so I just buckled down. I learned a song a day until I had enough songs, and went out in the street and started playing.
Wow. And where do you live now? In Austin?
Yeah.
How does living here, which is in such a vibrant music community, how does that affect your music?
Well, that affected me in a very profound way. First of all, Austin provides a huge source of talent for me to learn from. People that I look up to, people like Ray Wiley Hubbard and Jimmy Dale Gilmore and Joe Ely and that kind of crowd. I've looked up to them for a long time, and now I get to see them play around town and open up shows for them and talk to them. And so that's been a huge influence. Also, just the fact of being in this town where there's so much great talent, it's made me work way harder than I used to work because, I got here and I was just really frustrated because I wasn't getting anywhere. I was playing on the street again when I got here, starting from scratch. And so there, for several years here, it was just really slim pickings.
How do you feel now? You feel like you're making steps you want to make?
Yeah, with the new album Broke Down, I feel like I've jumped up a level in the consciousness of Austin, and I'm not at the top echelon by any means, but I get they write reviews about me now. At least I'm on the radar, at least, and people are starting to come to shows, and I'm on the radio here, which is a huge difference. The difference, it's a night and day.
Let me ask you something, but you mentioned about people writing reviews about you. I was looking at your website a few days ago, and there was a review on your website of the 1997 album No Angel Knows. It's probably the worst review I've ever read in my life. And then you respond on the same page, line for line. You respond to that review. Yeah. Why were you so affected by that, and why were you so moved to actually take the time out to respond to this?
I was really affected by that, and it was the only bad review I got for that album. And it was from my hometown, which just crushed me. I felt horrible. And plus, it was just, I thought, a really poorly written review. And I didn't think it was fair at all. And it was like really bashed me,
Yeah, it wasn't constructive at all
exactly.
As I read it.
Yeah. And so, I just to prop up my ego, I guess, I just sort of rebutted it with all the other reviews I got, basically, to make myself feel better.
Right. Are you still so affected by reviews?
I'm becoming less affected by them.
But you do read them.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah. But I'm starting to. I used to look for everyone, and now there's just so many now that I can't keep track.
I also read about a day job that you used to have at Pharmaco International. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I didn't make that up.
What did you tell me about your job there? What was that? What were you doing there?
Well, when I first got to Austin, like I said, things were pretty slim. I couldn't make money. No way I was going to make money here.
Right.
I made money back in New England where I got my start, but not here. And I saw a billboard for a company that runs FDA trials on new drugs for the drug companies. Drug companies pay this company to run the FDA mandated trials, and they're very scientific and very controlled. And they need healthy male volunteers to test out these drugs on.
Wow. So you were there taking. What is the most bizarre drug that they ever had you take?
Well, I did easy drugs and I did hard drugs. I did morphine studies, like a new morphine pill of some kind. I did a study for estrogen. Did a study It was a drug for bedwetting.
And what does that do?
I couldn't pee for 2 hours, that's all.
And what about the estrogen one? What is
that? Didn't have an effect on me.
Thank God,
I thought my voice would go up or something.
Grow some breasts.
Yeah, exactly. I was a little worried on that, but it was just one dose, so I thought it couldn't be too bad.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously you've played here at South by Southwest before, right?
Oh yeah.
Is it different playing in front of an audience that's filled with industry people as opposed to fans that have come to see you?
Yeah, I hate it. It's no fun at all. Yeah.
It's no fun at all?
Oh, I've never had a fun gig at South by Southwest.
Why do you keep doing it?
Oh, you know, you got to do it.
It's the business part.
Yeah.
How do you? Actually, let me ask you something else. What do you think is the most offensive thing about pop music today?
The most offensive thing. That's a cool question. I like that. It's hard to ask. Hard to answer because I'm so uninvolved with pop music.
Right.
I really don't know what's going on.
Right.
And I haven't for a while. Once in a while, something filters through, something gets really popular. I'll hear about it, but I don't know anything about it.
Well, then you're in a good spot. Nothing can offend you if you don't know about it.
Yeah, it doesn't offend me. I don't let it offend me anymore.
Very good. So what's next after South by Southwest? What are you up to?
I'm actually flying to England for 4 or 5 days Sunday, and that's a promotional tour, just radio and TV, because they're setting up a big tour for my band in May and June. So
it's a tour in Europe?
Yeah.
And when will you be back to tour here in the States?
Well, I'll come back from England in a week, and I'll play around Texas for a couple weeks, and then it's out in the van again for about a month. Very good. It's going to be like that all year, basically.
Very good.